And are some Americans putting each other at risk? And the other developing story as we come on tonight, the death of an unarmed black man under arrest, telling the officer, "I can't breathe." The growing outrage tonight over the deeply disturbing death of a black man arrested and handcuffed by police in Minneapolis. The officer seen with his knee on the man's neck. And the man can be heard pleading on that video, "I can't breathe." The video playing out for nearly 10 minutes, bystanders demanding police check his pulse. Authorities say he died a short time later. Tonight, 4 officers fired. And what the mayor is now saying about the officer in the video. Meantime, as America approaches that chilling milestone, the unsettling images, packed beaches and parks, huge crowds at parties, no signs of masks or social distancing. Hundreds from one of those parties already told to self-quarantine now for 14 days. Tonight, at least 14 states reporting a rise in cases of coronavirus as New York City tonight marks a turning point. The war of words breaking out late today between President Trump and Joe Biden. Trump taking aim at Biden for wearing a mask with his wife as they mark Memorial Day. Tonight, Biden just now responding, saying the president is, quote, "an absolute fool to talk that way." The horror unfolding inside Brazil and a new White House travel ban on Brazil going into effect just hours from now. The images tonight of mass graves, hospitals overwhelmed. Back in this country, the urgent manhunt at this hour across state lines in the Northeast. The student considered armed and dangerous, wanted for the murders of 2 people. Authorities releasing this image on train tracks, and will tell you where. Also, the woman who tells an African-American man in Central Park she is calling police on him after he tells her to put her dog on a leash. Tonight, her words in that video and the swift action now. And Diane Sawyer is here tonight. 12 weeks of reporting our new reality. How did America get here? And the remarkable story tonight of what caretakers were willing to do to save lives. And it worked.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and I hope you had a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend with family and loved ones. And we have a lot to get to tonight. The U.S. nearing that very difficult milestone with coronavirus. But we're going to begin here this evening with tension building tonight in Minneapolis after an unarmed black man died after being arrested and pinned to the ground by an officer. He can be heard on the video saying, "I can't breathe." Tonight, 4 police officers have now been fired, a witness recording the horrific incident. The handcuffed man on the ground, an officer's knee on his neck there. The man can be heard repeating over and over that he could not breathe. The video lasts about 10 minutes. He was unresponsive when an ambulance finally arrived, and tonight members of the community have begun to gather at a makeshift memorial. Protesters are also now gathering, and the mayor of that city tonight outraged, saying that the officer in the video, quote, failed in the most basic human sense. ABC's Alex Perez leads us off from Minneapolis, and we warn you, the video is very difficult to watch.
Please. Please, I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, man.
Tonight, the black man in this horrifying video on the ground and in handcuffs is dead. The white officer with his knee on his neck, along with 3 other officers, all fired. And the FBI is investigating.
He's not resisting arrest or nothing.
The roughly 10-minute video begins after police have the man, identified by a lawyer for family members as George Floyd, on the ground Monday night. Police say Floyd was unarmed, suspected of trying to pass a forged check at a convenience store, and also appeared to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs.
His nose is bleeding.
About 5 minutes into the video, Floyd appears to lose consciousness. Bystanders urging police to check his pulse.
Let me see a pulse.
But the officer does not get up. More than 7 minutes into the video, EMTs arrive on the scene and check his pulse. The officer's knee still on Floyd's neck. Floyd had worked as a security guard at a Minneapolis restaurant for more than 5 years. Police say he died at a nearby hospital. Their statement last night said he resisted officers. They handcuffed him and, quote, noted he appeared to be suffering medical distress.
Being black in America should not be a death sentence. This officer failed in the most basic human sense.
I can't breathe.
Those words, "I can't breathe," reminiscent of the Eric Garner case.
I can't breathe.
In 2014, he said those same words. He died after a controversial arrest in New York City that set off nationwide protests.
Because we have the video, we know the truth. We can see with our own eyes what happened.
All right, so let's get to Alex Perez in Minneapolis tonight. And Alex, we know the FBI is now investigating. We can see the crowd there gathering behind you. And you've learned tonight the officers who were fired were in fact wearing body cameras?
Yeah, David, first I wanted to show you that crowd behind me. Massive turnout for this protest here tonight. Yes, those officers were in fact wearing body cameras. Federal investigators are now working to determine if they violated Floyd's rights and whether they should face federal charges. David?
All right, Alex Perez leading us off tonight. Alex, thank you. And that awful scene playing out against the backdrop of this pandemic. Crowds outside in many parts of the country over the weekend. Many Americans eager to get outside, to see people again. But there are images that troubled many, leading to the questions, how close is too close? And are some Americans putting each other at risk now? And of course, that number tonight, and these are American lives lost, now nearly 99,000. The boardwalk in Ocean City, Maryland, crowded pool parties at Missouri's Lake of the Ozarks. Tonight, health officials have already asked hundreds who gathered there to self-quarantine for 14 days. It is a reopening that comes with risks, we all know that, and turning points as well, as we witnessed one in New York City today. Here again, Tom Llamas.
Today, for the first time in months, Wall Street opened to the new normal. Lines for temperature checks to get on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. The governor ringing the bell and reopening the floor. Traders wearing masks and socially distanced. The market today surging despite that grim milestone looming. Nearly 100,000 American lives lost to the virus. The president insisting the toll could have been much higher.
If we didn't act quickly and smartly, we would have had, in my opinion and in the opinion of others, anywhere from 10 to 20 and maybe even 25 times the number of deaths.
But tonight, renewed concern after scenes like these over the weekend.
Social distancing is absolutely critical. And if you can't social distance and you're outside, you must wear a mask.
From beaches to pool parties like this one in Houston, to this crowded bar in Arizona, many Americans close together and many without masks.
I mean, if you're worried about it, stay home. If you don't want to catch it, then stay home.
After back-to-back pool parties at Missouri's Lake of the Ozarks, health officials urging anyone there to self-quarantine for 14 days.
It seems like the younger generation doesn't have any fear here.
Tonight, cases of the virus still rising across 14 states, including Alabama. The mayor of Montgomery telling our Marcus Moore they're now low on ICU beds.
Is it too soon to open Alabama? Is it too soon to open this city?
Absolutely. I think it's too soon. We have to make sure that we are being guided by the data and not the dollars.
And tonight, signs of progress in the hardest hit state. In the suburb of New Rochelle, where we saw the first containment zone after a cluster of cases, today a slow reopening. Kamisha Salmon opening up her store for the first time in nearly 2 months.
I understand the pandemic, but you also have to understand I have 2 children. They got to eat. We still have bills and nothing changed.
And really, that's what it's all about, this whole debate across the country. Tom, I know you're in New Rochelle tonight where things are starting to open up, some positive signs there. But of course, restrictions in New York City still in place.
That's right, David, and no date has been set to reopen. That has frustrated some New Yorkers. But the governor and the mayor have both said it's still not safe to reopen New York City. It likely will reopen in phases during the first 2 weeks of June, but an exact date has not been set. There is still a major concern, David, about minority communities in the city.
All right, Tom Llamas, we appreciate your reporting again tonight, Tom. Thank you. And amid all of those, a new war of words erupting tonight between President Trump and Joe Biden. President Trump taking aim at Biden for wearing a mask as he and Mrs. Biden mark Memorial Day. Biden now responding tonight in a new interview, saying of the president he's an absolute fool to talk that way. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, 2 images reflect the split screen this campaign has become. President Trump in a factory without a mask, surrounded by people who are all wearing them. And his rival, Joe Biden, out for the first time publicly since March, his own face covered.
He was standing outside with his wife, perfect conditions, perfect weather. They're inside, they don't wear masks, and so I thought it was very unusual that he had one on.
Biden tonight firing right back.
He's a fool. An absolute fool to talk that way. I mean, every leading doc in the world is saying we should wear a mask when you're in a crowd. This macho stuff for a guy, I shouldn't get going, but it just is, it's cost people's lives.
So do you think wearing a mask projects strength or weakness?
leadership, what it presents and projects as leadership.
The two candidates in stark contrast. President Trump pushing to reopen is now threatening to rip the Republican convention away from North Carolina unless the state will allow a packed house. But today, Governor Roy Cooper unmoved.
I will say that it's okay for political conventions to be political, but pandemic response cannot be.
The president is blaming the governor, not the virus, for why the convention might not go on as planned.
We have a governor that doesn't want to open up the state.
But the governor says his decision will be guided by health and safety concerns, noting that other large organizations like NASCAR have put together a plan to reopen safely. And now it's the RNC's turn. And now the Republican governors of Florida and Georgia are raising their hands to host the convention instead, while Democrats, who hold their convention first, are taking the opposite approach. They are already planning to massively scale back their convention, possibly holding much of it virtually. David.
All right, Mario, thanks to you as well. We're going to turn next tonight to the horror unfolding in Brazil, second only to the U.S. in the number of cases. Hospitals there overwhelmed. They are digging mass graves. And the White House with a travel ban that begins just hours from now. Our foreign correspondent, Ian Pannell, tonight.
Tonight, the countdown to a midnight ban as travelers in Brazil scramble. The country is the world's new hotspot, second only to the US in confirmed cases. The White House now pushing through the travel ban 2 days ahead of schedule, though US citizens are exempt. More than 23,000 have now died in Brazil from COVID-19, the daily death rate exceeding that of the US for the first time as hospitals become overwhelmed and across the country mass graves are dug to handle the surge. President Bolsonaro, who called COVID-19 a little flu, still defying social distancing and at times not wearing a mask just feet away from supporters. And here in Mexico, cases also steadily rise, with more than 71,000 confirmed cases and more than 7,600 deaths. But a new study of the data by a civic watchdog group claims that the number of deaths could be much higher. All of this as health professionals on both sides of the border are increasingly concerned over new plans to open up popular tourism sites in Mexico, like Cancun, next week.
Well, just turning back to Brazil, have a look at this incredible video of President Bolsonaro amidst a crowd of supporters hugging a small child, accused of consistently flouting social distancing rules, also attending anti-lockdown rallies, just as Brazilians are dying in unprecedented numbers. David?
Ian Pannell reporting in from Mexico on the images in Brazil as well. Ian, thank you. And back here at home tonight, there is a desperate manhunt underway right now for a college senior suspected now in 2 murders. Police have tracked him from Connecticut to New Jersey, now to Pennsylvania, releasing new images tonight. And Ariel Reshef is in Pennsylvania.
Tonight, the urgent multi-state manhunt intensifying for suspected killer Peter Manfredonia. The FBI and local law enforcement combing Monroe County, Pennsylvania, after the University of Connecticut senior was last spotted walking near train tracks in East Stroudsburg. Police now say he got to those tracks by taking an Uber to a nearby Walmart. A 2012 Hyundai Santa Fe, then stolen from the area.
Peter has struggled with mental health issues over the past several years.
The 23-year-old a fugitive since Friday, when police say he brutally assaulted 2 men in Willington, Connecticut, killing 62-year-old Ted Demers. Sunday morning, Manfredonia allegedly breaking into a home in Willington, stealing food, firearms, and a truck. And nearby, authorities discovering the suspect's childhood acquaintance, Nick Eisel, dead.
I heard a loud bang. I heard a girl scream. And then I heard 2 people kind of arguing.
Manfredonia allegedly abducting an unidentified person from that home. The victim later found unharmed in New Jersey near the Pennsylvania border.
Peter, I want you to know that we are continuing our investigation. The one thing we are missing right now is you.
And the FBI saying they want this to end peacefully, but in the meantime, they say if you see this suspect, do not approach him and call 911 immediately. David?
Ariel Reshef with us tonight. Ariel, thank you. And we turn next tonight to Diane Sawyer and her new reporting on our new reality. Diane's been reporting now for 2.5 months, witnessing New Yorkers cheering for healthcare workers from her roof, reporting from her living room, from the streets of New York, on how this virus has changed America. We have seen the terrible toll on nursing homes and long-term care facilities, accounting for 1/3 of U.S. deaths. Tonight, Diane introduces us to a group of dedicated Ohio caregivers and what they did to save lives, to protect their adopted family, and it worked.
I've covered over the decades so many challenges and seen how we transform them into strength.
A group of dedicated Ohio caregivers saying goodbye to their own families, not sure when they would see them again.
I've converted my office into my bedroom.
These administrators, nurses, aides at 2 assisted living facilities, Sharon Brook and Chapel Grove, decided if the enemy was heading to their doors, they would go inside, lock that door, and fight to keep it out.
We knew that once it reached our facility, it would be too late.
The weeks go by. In private, these workers admit it's not easy.
My son is a senior this year, so he's not only missing his mom at home, he's missing prom and possibly graduation.
They make sure the residents see only smiling faces. After all, these lives were in their hands. People who had been architects, accountants, paramedics. People once so vital and so young. Over these months, birthdays were celebrated, even a high school graduation for an aide. And then last week, after 65 days, these caregivers finally began to go home, knowing that not one of the 200 residents got COVID. Now there will be new protective testing for any caregiver who goes in and out. But what they did in this moment is going to last forever. A sign appeared at one of the facilities saying it all. Heroes work here. Love lives here.
65 days they moved in with their extended family. They're just an incredible effort in Ohio, those workers. And we should mention that this is just part of an incredible body of work. 12 weeks of reporting. Diane with her report, our new reality tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here. Thank you, Diane. And when we come back tonight, that moment in New York Central Park going viral tonight, the woman and what she tells an African-American man after he tells her to put her dog on a leash. Tonight, her words in that video and what's now happened to her in a moment.
It's starting to happen every day. People are surprising themselves the moment they realize they can do more with less asthma. Thanks to Dupixent, the add-on treatment for specific types of moderate to severe asthma. Dupixent isn't for sudden breathing problems. It can improve lung function for better breathing in as little as 2 weeks and help prevent severe asthma attacks. It's not a steroid, but can help reduce or eliminate oral steroids. Don't use if allergic to Dupixent. Serious allergic reactions can occur, including anaphylaxis.